welcome everyone to the People's House.
Mr. Speaker, will you please call the House to order?
The bill is passed.
We want to make sure that we make New York a more affordable place to live, a better place to raise a family. Welcome to Assembly Update. I am Assembly Member Angelo Santa Barbara, representing the 111th Assembly District, which includes Montgomery County, parts of Schenectady County, and parts of Albany County. Today, we're going to be talking about Habitat for Humanity of Schenectady County, and I'm very pleased to have with us our guest, Jeff Clark, who is the Executive Director. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thank you for being here. And we've heard a lot about Habitat for Humanity across Schenectady County, and we're excited to have you on the show now to talk about Habitat. But before we do that, let's talk about your role and how you've been involved over the years.
Okay. I got involved as a volunteer, lived for a while in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and when we moved back to this area, I found out that the Schenectady affiliate wanted to grow, and the most normal first step there is to hire an executive director, so you've got somebody to blame or to focus on all the things that need to be done. And so that's kind of where I stepped in, and it was an affiliate at that time that was a typical small affiliate doing one, maybe two houses a year, and they wanted to do better. And Habitat International challenges affiliates to grow. There's a lot of ways that we can do that, but we set a goal initially of doing 25 houses in 5 years. And in the past 15 years, they had done 17 houses. So it gives you an idea of what the growth plan was. And we only got 24 done, but we also opened a restore and started successfully running that business. And we then subsequently bought the building at 115 North Broadway, the old Gold Stocks building, the old SAC TV building.
I remember, yes.
And totally renovated that. And it's now got about 14,000 square feet of retail space. And we continue to increase our building so that this coming year we're going to do 6 houses, 2 new builds, 4 rehabs, and we're now branching out into what's called neighborhood revitalization, which is a way to help existing homeowners as opposed to putting new homeowners in houses. So there's a lot going on.
And we mentioned the neighborhood program, and that's something new, sort of a new direction. Let's talk a little bit about that. That kind of fits in with what's going on across Schenectady County as well.
It does, and right now there are about 200 affiliates across the country that are doing this, and it's different in every city. In our case, we're working closely with the mayor's office and City Hall development department, so that the focus initially was kicked off in the north side, where they have the homes program targeted, and we focused on Foster Avenue and Carey Street and that area, just a little bit away from Union College campus. And it consisted initially of what's called a Brush with Kindness. And that's a program where Valspar Paint donates paint and brushes, and we had union students, we had people from Price Chopper, we had people from all over the place. Ellis Hospital had a team out there, and we did painting and cleanup, and we painted all the fire hydrants in the area.
And I did hear about that, yes. And they look good. They do look good.
They do.
Yep, it makes a big difference.
It's amazing what a little thing like that can do to help perk up a neighborhood. But there was one house particular that had been cited by the codes officers, an elderly lady. The house had no paint on it, literally. I mean, bare wood on the exterior for the most part, because she didn't have the money to paint the house.
Right.
She's lived there for a long time. So between the folks at Price Chopper and Union sent several teams over on different occasions, and we were able to get a bucket lift so that we could get high enough, and so the house is now white with nice dark green trim. Still needs work, but it looks a lot better, and it helps the neighborhood a lot as far as, when you come into that, it's amazing what a coat of paint will do.
And we talk about people just volunteering their time and helping. I find that when given the opportunity, a lot of people want to contribute to these neighborhood projects and help and donate their time. Are you seeing that as well with the program?
Yeah, the nice thing about that sort of thing, Angelo, is that we see people from the neighborhoods coming out. And there are rules that we have to follow as far as child labor rules and things like that. And like the first day that we did the initiative, there were some young kids, like 10 years old or something, that wanted to help. And we managed to find some things that they could do. But, that's something that we're getting better at and preparing for it. At 18, they can do just about anything. So the college students come in and they're in pretty good shape as far as being able to work. But we do have creative ways to get other people involved as well.
We talked about, and I think it's something that's exciting where you're actually building something, you see a finished product. We talked about houses, we talked about neighborhoods. If you had to come up with Habitat has a mission statement, what would that statement be?
Essentially, it's to get people in decent housing and affordable housing. The organization started off, it is a faith-based organization. The roots are, clearly founded in the Old and New Testament, but, we don't push that perhaps as much as we should, or some people say too much. But it started out, and what we try to do, families have to qualify, because once the construction process is finished, we turn into the bank. And we're going to hold a 30-year, in our case, a 30-year 0% mortgage. And so we care a lot about their ability to pay, because that money that comes back in helps go to program. So, we don't want people to fail. We want them to succeed. So we have a family selection committee that goes through the process of interviewing people. If they have issues or for some reason don't qualify, many times it's a matter of, well, here's what you need to do.
Right.
And in that case, we would send them to some credit counseling. You got to fix these things. There's outstanding debts that need to be cleaned up, whatever it might be. And then if they can do those things, that certainly shows us their interest, their dedication to succeeding. So that's a big deal. And then through the process, they have to do a certain number of hours of sweat equity. I know that you were at Heather's house when we did the Women Build kickoff.
Yep.
And Heather is a single mom. So in that case, she has to do 300 hours of sweat equity work.
Okay.
And at least 100 at the house. So she's pretty much completed everything.
I see.
The house is nearing completion. So, she'll be in her house pretty soon, but she's met every goal and she's doing real well. And when she gets in there, I know she's going to be successful.
Right.
Have no doubt about that. And so that's what makes it affordable housing. We sell the house basically for what is called no profit. So, we count gifts in kind. We have people who donate the tile and install the tile in the bathroom, things like that. There's a value to that.
Yeah.
So we take that and say, okay, if we had to pay cash for it, this is what it would have been. And that goes into the factor. But we don't mark things up. There's no profit. And so when we sell the house, we're selling it below market value, and we're selling it at 0% interest. So that's truly what makes Habitat houses affordable housing. It's a good deal. I wish I could get it.
And you mentioned, okay, somebody has a home, they think they qualify. What's the next step? Do they call Habitat and say, I'd like you to take a look at my house?
Yeah, in the case of neighborhood revitalization, that is a fairly new area, and it came out of some of the disaster relief work that's been done in the last few years. And at some point, somebody within Habitat said, well, wait a minute. Most of our effort for the last 30 years has gone to putting families in houses who've never been homeowners.
Okay.
And that was, the real focus. What about people who are in houses and maybe elderly, maybe have issues, and they're in danger of not being able to stay in that house, or the conditions are not what we call acceptable,
Right.
you know, that we would find normal. We had a case 2 weeks ago from Schenectady County Code's office, and the guy's mother owned the house. She passed away. He wound up shutting off the second floor, electricity, heat, everything else. There's now roof leaks. There's mold upstairs. There's issues with the plumbing downstairs. And Codes wants to try to help this poor guy stay in the house. He doesn't have a lot of money. So, you know, in cases like that, we're trying to figure out things that we can do. How can we help? You know, the city wants to help. There are different programs. None of them are really directed to help people in that kind of a situation, you know, really solve their problems. So, yeah, I had a conversation a little over a year ago with Neil Golub from Price Chopper. Neil drives through the North Side area on his way home, and it bothers him because he sees things that he knows aren't right. And he's behind us. We've got a lot of good partners, and we're trying to put it all together so that, you know, we can help people who really need the help. And this coming year, I think, is going to be exciting. We're moving more into critical repair, into weatherization, and those are two new areas for us. But those are the other. There's three elements. There's the brush with kindness, which is basically exterior, you know, make it look better, and then there's the interior work, either, you know, to help people so that their heating bills aren't so exorbitant, and you know, so that whatever issues they might have can be addressed. So it's an expansion that is really needed, and particularly in our area, there's a lot of people. We just are trying to figure out how it's all going to work.
And you talked about partnerships and people donating time. The volunteers, some of this stuff is specialized work, you know, putting in tile, weatherizing a home. Is there any training or any sort of skills that people would need, or do they come with what they have and we find a spot where they can succeed and be helpful?
We find spots for people depending upon what their skill level may or may not be. Okay. And you know, I've been doing this for 15 plus years, and I've learned a lot. You know, there's a lot of things I can do now at my house that I couldn't have done before I did all these things.
Well, and that's part of it, I think. But, you know, volunteering, you do pick up skills and you learn from watching.
Yeah, and I'm not, you know, I'm not actively involved in the building phase like some of our regulars and some of the volunteers are, but you do learn things, and people come, and sometimes they're a little nervous. We talked a little bit about the women build. I know that you came for the first day, the kickoff day. Yeah. And that whole program came out of the fact that when women would show up at work sites, they weren't really very welcomed. And, you know, some of the guys that, most of our volunteers are retired, and this is nationwide that this was occurring, and somebody said, well, why don't we do women build houses so that women can come and they can be more comfortable. They don't have to put up with these guys who think they don't know how to do anything. And in fact, nationally we partner with Lowe's, and I believe it's in March we're going to start the clinics that women can go to at Lowe's stores. Last year they did a great job, and they taught these women. They built, you know, a facade, a little miniature front of the house, complete with drywall taping, painting, roofing, everything.
Now, this is a program that you can volunteer or sign up for, and it takes place at the local Lowe's?
Yes, it will be at the Lowe's store off of Freeman's Bridge Road.
Okay.
And I don't have the schedule yet. That's just being put together now.
And we're going to give out your websites. I'm sure it'll be on there as well.
It'll be on there. People can sign up to volunteer. And it's just one of those things where, you know, I think last year there were maybe a consistent group of 10 or 15 women that came to those clinics, and they built this little structure. And I'm not sure exactly if that project is going to be repeated or what it's going to be this time, but, you know, they'll come, they'll learn the skills they need to show up at the work site and be productive and be comfortable. and they learn safety skills and things like that. So,
And you learn how to do these things for yourself if you need them at your house
yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Let's give out that website, www.schenectadyhabitat.org.
Yes.
Okay, you can find some of the information we talked about, this Lowe's
Yeah, we try to keep everything updated,
Training.
so there's ways to sign up for volunteering. You can look at the calendar, see what's coming up. All of the women's clinics will be on there pretty soon.
and the number, of course, 518-395-3412, or they can stop in at your office.
Yeah, the Restore is open Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Okay.
10 to 6 on Thursdays, 10 to 3 Friday and Saturday. Or they can call and, we'll welcome anybody.
We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about Women Build last year's, and we're going to talk about the upcoming one as well.
Good.
Stay with us here on Assembly Update.
All right, give me a spot. You know my motto, safety first.
They could be dangerous. I think we should call animal control.
Animal control.
To be safe.
Don't worry.
Just...
I got this. It's a new motto.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you. Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital.